Okay, let's talk about Tuesday, April 23rd playoff games. The Leafs versus the Bruins and the Sharks versus the Golden Knights. This was an insane day for hockey. Two series got decided today in game sevens, two game sevens, and one made me mad, one blew my mind. Let's start off with the one that made me mad because I am a Toronto Maple Leafs fan at heart. So Boston beats Toronto 5-1 to take the series 4-3. Starting with the first period scoring, Nordstrom gets his second of the series, assisted by Greitschlik and Curley. This comes off a bad giveaway from who else? Jake Gardiner, who sends the puck passes the puck right to a Boston Bruins player on the blue line. It changes, sticks a couple of times, and the goal is actually scored from a bad angle. And this is a soft goal let in by Frederik Andersen, who also had a poor game. And this is kind of becoming a little bit of a storyline here because I believe he's 0 for 4 in Game 7s right now. And although he played amazing in the first 6 games of the series, as did Toronto, really, compared to the last 2 times they faced Boston in 2 times in 3 years, this one really looked different. They looked like the better team, and they just pooped the bed in this. It was unbelievable. The second goal, Johnson scores his first of the series, unassisted, not by a bad giveaway by Jake Gardiner, but a horrible giveaway by Jake Gardiner. Oh my God! What's wrong with his mind? What? I know he came into the series with a bit of a back injury, etc. This had nothing to do with that. This was poor decision making. I don't want to get on the I hate Jake Gardiner bandwagon because he can be a real good defenseman. He passes the puck really well. He skates well. I really hate how he goes for those long bomb passes way more often than I like to see. But in the playoffs, he's just, especially in Game 7s, he's just, oh my God, terrible. He's so bad. And why he even played over 17 minutes of ice time, why he has, is just beyond me. I think Dermott is the only one who had less. It was almost a minute less. And that should have been the other way around. Gardiner looked pale as a ghost, stunned, hypnotized, however you want to describe it. His brain was not present in that game. And there's no way the Leafs are signing him next season unless it's at a huge discount. And I think even the teams that may have been lining up to sign him in the offseason, and I'm not saying there won't be a lot, but the list definitely grew shorter, as did his possible payday after another awful game. But this game wasn't all on him. His first 2 goals were, almost for the most part, because this Anderson, you couldn't really blame him too much on that second goal, but I digress. Let's get back to the scoring. Second period. Now, up until now, after the first 5 minutes of the first, Toronto looked like the better team. They weathered an early Bruins onslaught, and then from about the 5 minute period, 5 minutes in after the first. Why can't I speak English? From 5 minutes into the first on, the Leafs took over this game up until early in the third. It was and Rask kept Boston in this game. Leafs would have taken this. He looked really, really good. Second period, Tavares gets his second of the series, assisted by Ennis. Ennis did a lot of work on this. He was the sole Maple Leaf forechecking on this play. Hit a couple of Bruins, got the cough pucked up, which came right in the open to Tavares, who had jumped off the bench and put a pass to Rask. Hard to blame him. Tuukka on that goal. And Leafs definitely, if they didn't have it already, definitely had the momentum going in. Now, before the second period ends, just as it ends, there's a melee by the benches. Marchand cross-checks Austin Matthews from behind in the numbers into the boards. No penalty was given on that. That and a melee ensues. Bergeron grabs Tavares. Chara comes racing in and just cheap shots Tavares in the side of the head. And then Tavares drops like a stone. And Bergeron's just like, what just happened? Why is he on the floor now? No penalty. No penalty. Oh, trying to be bipartisan here. As a Leaf fan, I'm trying to be bipartisan. One of those constitute a penalty. I know there were a lot of veteran referees out on that night, but Leafs didn't necessarily lose this game because of the refereeing. They didn't lose the game because of the refereeing. They shouldn't have got a penalty for one of those, but let's move on to the third. Because Boston goes up 3-1. Goal by Curley, who gets his first of the series, second point of the night, assisted by Asiari, if that's how you pronounce it, and Nordstrom, who also gets his second point of the night. 3-1 Boston, and you can just see the half the Leaf bench was just deflated at this point. Mentally, they're done. They're out of the game, and you're looking around, you're like, oh no, this is it. And they could have fought back, but they didn't. The fight, the tenacity just wasn't there after that. Coyle, who had a good game for Boston, gets his third, an empty netter to make it 4-1, assisted by Krejci, and then Bergeron gets his third of this series, another empty netter with, I want to say, a little less than a second left in the game to make it 5-1. There's a lot of things happening in this game. Gardner was awful, Anderson was bad, and Babcock made a lot of poor coaching decisions in this one. I'm going to get more into this in a Leaf video tomorrow. I'm going to look at reasons the Leafs lost this series, especially that last Game 7 there. But for now, let's just move on and let's talk about shots. First period, it's 12-11 for the Maple Leafs. Second, 13-8 for the Leafs. Third, 13-8 for the Bruins. And then Toronto has the edge in the end with a 33-32 shot difference. Team stats. The face-offs were dead even at 30-30. I want to say this might be the third time that's happened in this series. Crazy. Because, Bergeron is, the master at the face-offs, but that's about it for Boston going down their lineup there. And Tavares, Matthews, and Kadri/Nylander happen to be good at face-offs. So is Hyman, who takes them on the penalty kill when he's not taking them against Bergeron. Power play. Leafs go 0 for 2. Another big thing that let them down in the series and this game, the special teams. Boston doesn't even get a power play. Leafs don't take a penalty. Hits are 33-27 for Toronto. Leafs, again, were one of the bottom 4 teams in hits during the regular season. Just reflect on that. Giveaways. Boston had 17. Toronto had 13. Takeaways. Toronto had 10. Boston had 7. And block shots were 17-4 for the Bruins. The goaltending. Rask, of course, gets the win. He's 4-3 in the playoffs. Saved 32 of 33 in this game. Was .970. Rask did not look... was far from spectacular Game 1 through Game 6. He let in some iffy goals. He looked shaky. Going into Game 7, as a Leaf fan, I was like, Toronto can definitely win this game. And Rask is probably one of their biggest weaknesses at this point. Not in this one. He looked really good. If it wasn't for him, I'd say the Leafs take this one. Anderson gets the loss, saves 27 of 30, has a .900 save percentage. He's 3-4 in the playoffs, and I think he's 0 for 4 in Game 7s. Frederik Andersen. This is a bit of a habit of his, and we'll get more into depth on that in my next video. The 3 stars of the game are all Bruins. Number 1, Rask, of course, with an awesome game. 2, Curley, who gets 1 goal, 1 assist, +3 with 11:48 of ice time. And the 3rd star goes to Nordstrom with 1 goal, 1 apple, just over 10 minutes of ice time. Yeah, your 2 of the stars of this game are from the 3rd and 4th lines, because the first 3 goals of this game were scored by the 3rd and 4th lines. Ouch. Not that the 3rd and 4th lines are horrible, but Toronto's 3rd and 4th are definitely better. And for those lines to score just an extra little dagger in Toronto's back, as they lose this one. And it's not even Boston's first line that just runs amok in this game, or their power play. They're two biggest advantages in this series. In any case, let's move on to the next game, where the San Jose Sharks beat the Vegas Golden Knights 5-4 in overtime to win this series 4-3. This was a crazy, bizarro land game. Let's start the scoring. First period, the Sharks take a couple of penalties, but they can't get the advantage. And as those two penalties run out, boom, Karlsson scores, makes it 1-0, gets a second of the playoffs, assisted by Marchessault and Smith. Second period, more of the same. Vegas is slowly kind of taking over and putting their imprint on this one, and they look like they're going to take it. The fight from the Sharks just isn't there. Eakin gets his second of the series, assisted by McNabb and Theodore in the second. And in the third, more of the same. Pacioretty gets his fifth of the playoffs, assisted by Stone. That Vegas second line is just killing it on the scoreboard. But their first line, give them credit, woke up in this one. But that's when the game just goes upside down. And off a face-off, Cody Eakin cross-checks Joe Pavelski, I want to say right in the face area, throws him off balance, hits Paul Stastny. He falls awkwardly to the ice, slams his head, and he's like out. He's like lying there just on his side. The whistle finally gets blown about I want to say 3 or so seconds after that happened. Pavelski starts to rouse. He picks his head up the ice, and blood just starts pouring out. And all the players are kind of like, just, oh my God, freaking out. And as a fan watching that, it's, wow, I don't know if he's going to be back. That's definitely a concussion. And he did get up. With the help of 3 or 4 players and staff, he got up. And they slowly moved him off the ice. And they went to commercial while they mopped up all the blood. Oh, it did not look pretty. Of course, he didn't come back for the rest of the game. But the Sharks used that as a huge turning point and a motivation for their injured captain to basically storm back, because Cody Eakin gets a 5-minute major and a game, I believe, misconduct, and the Sharks just score 4 goals. Not only do they tie it, but they go ahead in the game. It's the most unbelievable thing I've ever seen. The color commentators and the play-by-play mentioned that last time something this crazy happened in the playoffs might have been in the 2010 Bruins versus Flyers, where the Flyers came back from a 3-0, being down 3-0 in the series, to take it to Game 7. We're down 3-0 in Game 7 to the Bruins, and he came back and won that game. I don't know if you remember that game, Bruins fans, or maybe you just blacked it out like I have the last 3 playoff series against Boston with the Toronto Maple Leafs. In any case, to the scoreboard, Couture scores on the ensuing power play. He gets his 5th of the series, assisted by LeBlanc and Hurdle. And as soon as he scores, he's like, "That's one! That's one!" And it just starts to snowball. Hurdle then scores to make it 3-2 Vegas. He gets the 6th of the series, assisted by Karlsson and LeBlanc. Hurdle and LeBlanc now have 2 points so far. Then Couture makes it 3-0. Gets his 2nd goal of the game, 6th of the playoffs, assisted by Burns and LeBlanc. LeBlanc's now on his 3rd point of the game. And then it's 4-3, and the place is going just crazy. It's being played in San Jose. Fans are going absolutely nuts. Sharks now lead the game after that 5-minute power play, scoring 4 goals. And LeBlanc gets that one, his 2nd of the series, assisted by Timo Meier. LeBlanc now with 4 points on the night. And then just before the 3rd ends, I want to say, they pulled Fleury. They pulled Fleury for this last goal. And did you hear something? No, neither did I. You don't want to know. Marchessault then evens the game at 4 apiece. Gets his 4th of the series, 2nd point of the night, assisted by Smith and Stone. Their 2nd point of the night as well. We go to overtime, where I think at this point the Shark fans are a little bit shell-shocked and a little bit nervous because this whole series could have gone either way. And that San Jose scores. They win the whole thing by goal by Gaudreau, his second of the series, assisted by Carlson, second point of the night, and Sorensen. Just insanity. The shots in this one were 11-4 in the first for the Sharks, 10-9 in the second for the Knights, 15-14 in the third for Vegas, and then 14-9 for the Sharks in overtime. And this ended 48-38 for San Jose in the shot category. Team stats. Face-offs were 41-39 for Vegas. Power play, Vegas goes 0 for 2. What's wrong with their power play? I think all series long, it didn't do much. But those kind of players, I really don't get that. Maybe that's a coaching thing, but in any case, San Jose goes 4 for 9, so they don't score on any of their other 5 power plays, just the one 5-minute power play where they score 5 goals. That's kind of amusing stat. The hits were 42-32 for Vegas. The giveaways were 13 apiece. The takeaways were 13-11 for San Jose, and the block shots were 25-16 for the Vegas Golden Knights. Now, the goaltending in this one, Jones. How is Jones winning games with this kind of a save percentage? It's the same old story from the regular season going into the playoffs. San Jose is just outscoring their opponent. Jones saves 34-38 with a .895 save percentage in this one. He's now 4-2 because Aaron Dell took one of those losses in there. Speaking of losses, Fleury, who I just feel sorry for, lost this one, saved 43 of 48. He did make some amazing plays, amazing saves in this game, but he had a .896 save percentage, slightly better than Jones, and he's 3-4, and that's it. You know, the Knights are done. I just couldn't believe it. I did pick the Sharks in my playoff bracket. The only team so far that I've been right on. Because Washington's playing Game 7 with Carolina tomorrow. I picked Washington, so we'll see. But so far, I picked, and this is funny because I went back and forth so many times on who I thought would win this series. I was pretty sure Vegas was going to take it. Only last minute, a gut decision against all logic did I pick San Jose. And that was strictly because of the goaltending, really. I mean, you look at Vegas's forward depth is pretty good too. As even. It's just that first line was a little slow during the regular season this year. But otherwise, in any case, the 3 stars of the game were all San Jose Sharks. Number 1 was LeBlanc with 1 goal, 3 assists, 4 points, 2 penalty minutes. Played just over 26 minutes of ice time and was a -1. Couture gets a 2nd star with 2 goals. He's even in the plus-minus category, had 24 minutes and 47 seconds of ice time. And then Thomas Hertl gets 3rd star with 1 goal, 1 apple, even on the plus-minus, and just over 30 minutes of ice time in this one. As always, I would love to hear your thoughts and comments on these games because they were just bizarre, crazy. One kind of predictable, the other one anything but. Still, both were entertaining. If you like this video, please hit that like button. If you really liked it, smash that subscribe button if you haven't already. And if you happen to have any Hockey Geek friends, please don't be shy about sharing. Thanks again, and I'll see you very soon.